As he reached Gethsemane, he became strangely silent. He had often visited for prayer and meditation, but never with a heart so full of grief as upon this night of his last agony. Now he's to be counted amongst transgressors. The guilt of fallen humanity he now must bear. He that knew no sin upon him was to be laid in the iniquities of us all. But what was to be gained from the sacrifice, he thought? The teachers of the law had rejected him. One of his most trusted disciples would betray him, and one of his most faithful disciples would deny him. All would forsake him. He wondered at why all of humanity would delight in the plots of Satan against him. The conflict was terrible. And as he contemplated the price to be paid for human soul, in his agony, he clings to the cold ground. Cold dew frost upon his prostrate form, and from his pale lips comes the bitter cry.
Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass over.
Yet, even now, he adds,
Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done.
Thrice, he uttered this prayer, and thrice his humanity shrunk at the reality of this last crowning sacrifice. The angels of the Lord longed to bring relief to this divine sufferer, but this might not be, for as the mysterious cup of death trembled in the hands of the Master, behold, the heavens opened and the angels came down, not to take away the cup from the Master, but to strengthen him to drink it. And then cometh Judas, and with a kiss he betrays the Master. For 2 days he was without food nor drink. He had faced the agony of Gethsemane, the anguish of betrayal, the denial of Peter. He had been taken from Annas to Caiaphas, from Caiaphas to Pilate, from Herod to Pilate, and from Herod back to Pilate. Jesus, the Son of the living God.
As he passed through the gates of Pilate's court, the cross that had been prepared for Barabbas the thief was placed upon his innocent, bruised, and bleeding shoulders. Some time ago, his disciples were honored to be associated with the Master, but on shame and humiliation, they followed from a distance. From the same lips that came the cry of Hosanna in the highest, came the wicked cry, At his baptism, the Father had proclaimed, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I'm very well pleased." And as he was brutally nailed to the cross, when the voice was needed the most, his beloved Father was silent.
If you be the Son of God, save yourself.
Little did they know That was because he refused to save himself that the whole of the world is saved today. The sun refused to shine upon this awful scene of death. Amidst the thick darkness, God's presence was needed the most, and when he could take no more, he cried out,
Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani.
My God, why hast thou forsaken me? See those that had little hope in him. When they heard this desperate cry, hope left them. Because if God has forsaken the one you claim to be his son, then upon what could they possibly hope on? The spotless Son of God hung on the cross, his body designed with stripes. Those hands of his that so often reached over with a healing touch were nailed to the wooden bars. Those legs of his that moved so tirelessly going about doing good were spiked to the tree. That rolled head of his, pierced with a crown of thorns. That mouth of his, shaped in a cry of woe. And hushed tones that seemed to have resounded for all the earth to hear, he said,
It is finished.
apparently forsaken of God. His disciples watched in utter despair as he was being brought down from the cross. His hair matted with blood, his eyes shut, his hands folded on his chest, his mouth shut. They watched as he was laid in a borrowed tomb, he that owned the whole of the world. A heavy stone was rolled against the entrance of the tomb. A guard of 100 soldiers kept to protect the tomb. Permit me to say that he was very, very dead. Why didn't the Jews and rulers of Israel know the Son of God? For his birth, the stars had known him and guided the 3 wise men to the manger where he did lay. The wind and seas had known him and trembled at his command. Demons and diseases had known him and shivered at his word. The rocks had known him and shivered into fragments when he cried out, "It is finished." All of nature had known him, yet the Jews and rulers of Israel knew not the Son of God. Are we any different? But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, early Sunday morning, behold, there was an earthquake, and the angel of the Lord had descended from the heavens. His countenance was as lightning, and his clothes as white as snow. For fear of him, the guards did shake. Brave soldiers that had never been afraid, taken captive with neither sword or spear. For the face upon which they looked today was not the face of a mortal warrior, but the face of the captain of the Lord's own army. And they watched as he rolled away the heavy stone. Out from the grave, Jesus came proclaiming over this earth, "O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? For it is written in the volume of the verse, Thou shalt not leave my soul in Hades, neither shall you leave the Son of Man to rot in hell. Even in the grave he is Lord. He died, but he's not dead. He's alive. My Redeemer lives."
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! The tomb is empty. The cross is bare. He is no longer there. He is here to redeem your family, your children, your